Happy Halloween! Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm from Mama Loves You GB here on FlossTube, but also on Etsy and Instagram. I just wanted to pop on. This is not going to be one of my normal videos. This is just going to be a very short video just to round up Halloween really. I had so many finishes in my last video that I actually didn't get to show you the rest of my Halloween finishes that I'd had from previous years, and I've got a couple of finishes from this year as well. So what I want to do is just really concentrate on Halloween, show you those finishes, show you my previous finishes, and I've done a bit of a stash dive of some of the things that I've got in my pattern stash, but also some of the things that I've got kitted up. So I'm going to start with my finishes from this year. I've had two finishes since I last filmed actually, and one of them is a really quick lovely little stitch called Why Yes I Can Drive a Stick by Lizzie Kate Designs, and I've done it on this really bright, which is totally washing out, there you go, this sort of colour here, really bright bit of green 32 count Ada that I dyed using, oh totally blowing out, ooh, even worse over there, back there, that I dyed using those fabric paints that I showed you in the last video, or maybe the video before, but they were really good, so I had great fun with those. Oh, I have to take this hat off. It's too hot, it's too warm in a hat. It's the 30th today, 30th of October. The weather outside is horrendous. It's only really bright because it's really foggy outside, and so the light is just streaming through the window. The second one that I finished was actually, oh sorry to wobble you, an FFO. Now this is called Izzy Decaying, and it is by Silver Creek Samplers, and I hated stitching this one. I love the fabric. It's a 32 count XD Designs Elixir. I really like the frame, which I got from Amazon. I just searched distressed frame and this is what came up. But I made so many mistakes on this pattern. Nothing is exactly where it should be. It's fine. I'm pretty sure my pattern was haunted. When I started stitching it, I'd stitch along and I'd go back and I'd check, and it would bear no resemblance at all to the actual pattern. So I'm convinced it was haunted, but I'm really pleased with the way it's finished up. I think it looks really nice. The other thing that I've been working on that I was hoping to get finished for this Halloween, but it's not going to happen, is on the rest of that 32 count Elixir fabric, and this is the Ouija board Sal. Now I've done quite a lot more on it. I've got lots of the blocks started to be filled in, but it's not going to get done by tomorrow. So it will get done and it will feature in a future Halloween show or a future show as an FFO. I've decided how I'm going to finish it, and I actually got this. It's just a wooden witch. And I got it from a charity shop, believe it or not. It was just in the window. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint it black, and I'm going to put a couple of little hooks underneath so that I can hang a dowel rod from it, and then I'm going to make this into a bit of a, sorry, wobble you again, a bit of a wall hanging. Can I do it? Oops. A bit of a wall hanging from the witch. I think she's about the right size. If not, I may even just lollop off that end bit just to make her a little bit more the right size. So that is 2020 Halloween finished. I shall still be stitching tomorrow. We're going on a bit of a Halloween, our village, instead of doing trick or treat, all the houses have done windows, or lots of the houses have done windows, and they've made a trail so that kids can go around and walk and see all the different Halloween windows, and then they call into the local shop and then they get a bag of sweets from there, which all the local houses and things have donated to. So it's a really nice way of still giving them something to look forward to. We're pumpkin carving this afternoon. I'll have to give her a hat back, otherwise she'll be very upset about that. So I just wanted to show you a couple of other Halloween finishes that I've got. Hopefully I can remember. I've got the patterns for some of them, so I'm just going to stop the video just very briefly, grab everything together, and then I'll show you what I've got. So these are some previous Halloween finishes. Some you might have already seen. In fact, one of them I think you've already seen, but the others I'm pretty sure I've never showed you. So the first one I've got is this one, which is one I know that I've showed you, but as I've had so many new followers recently and I do love it, I thought I'd show it again. This is Witchy Washy by Raise the Roof on a piece of 32 count linen that I hand dyed, and then I obviously stitched the washing line on, and then I decided to make it into a nice big drum. So it's got all the buttons. I bought the button pack from Just Another Button Company and stitched them on as well, and I think that looks really fab. I really enjoyed stitching this one. I started it as part of my Stitch Mania. I did Button Mania, so anything that had a button on it I was doing for my Stitch Mania. The second one is actually another Stitch Mania, sorry I keep wobbling you today, another Stitch Mania start, and this is called Girls Night Out. This just makes me smile, this one. It's called Girls Night Out, and it's a pattern by Just Another Button Company, which I bought complete with the fabric and the buttons. It's on a 30 count Weeks Dye Works, old Weeks Dye Works, which I had to put in a hoop. I couldn't stitch it in hand like I normally do. I had to put it in a hoop. And I just found a really simple black frame for it. It's stitched using the called for colours in part, mostly DMC. It's got, for such a small piece, it's got a pretty big floss list for it. So I took the theme of the colours and used them. One thing I did do that was different to the pattern is each of the witches have got a bit of crazy hair going on. So I've used some whisper thread for this one. This is all made up of little tiny French knots, and I think the witch in the middle has got a bit of whisper thread as well, but maybe only one strand, where I think she's got two, and I've sort of poofed her up a little bit more, so she's a bit more crazy. She looks a bit more crazy. That would be me, I think, on the end there. So that's a previous finish. I've also got Halloween Cat by Satsuma Street. So I bought the pattern from Etsy for this one and bought a download. And again, I'm not massively into cats. Excuse me, you know, so why I'm stitching cats, I don't know. And this is my finish. She's finished as quite a big pillow, which I think is nice to have different sizes. And on the back I've just done sort of like a patchwork of a wool, an orange wool, and my favourite black velvet on the back. I can't remember if she's called for colours, but she's certainly in the same idea of called for colours. And it's filled with sawdust, this one. So it's a really nice kind of weighty, heavy pillow. So I'm pleased with that. I like displaying that one. And then I've also got this, which is a Ouija board. I'm going to have to put the name of the Etsy store on the bottom because it's written nowhere on the pattern, and I can't remember it, so I'm going to have to get, actually I'm going to have to get my partner to look back because he bought me this pattern for my birthday or Christmas, maybe Christmas. And so I'm going to have to get him to look back and see what the name of the shop was. But it's stitched on a 32 count ale, I believe this is, and just framed in a charity shop frame that I painted, but it seemed to fit quite well. I framed it myself, so there's a little bit that could be tweaked here. Now I've got a bit better at framing, but I quite like it. It's got a bit of a dunkel in the frame there because it sits on top of the mantelpiece during Halloween, and then when we have a fire on, we have the fan that goes round on top of the fire to sort of make sure the heat is dispersed evenly, and one morning it fell off, haunted maybe, it fell off the mantelpiece and hit the fan, so it's got a bit of a dunkel in the frame, but never mind, you can't really notice it. And ooh, I'm trying to find somewhere to put this. My last finish is something that I did for my daughter for last Halloween. It's the Tiny Modernist Haunted House or Haunted Mansion. It was a stitch along, but I didn't do it as a stitch along, I just did it as a piece. Now it's quite big. I have framed it and it went on her wall, but I'm not 100% happy with the frame. I bought the frame online as a you know, one of those sort of bespoke size frames, and I did really want a really thick heavy frame for it, but they were so expensive, so I put a black mat on it as well just to try and make it look a bit heavier. I don't know whether I'm going to get it all in. So that's the actual design, and it's on, I don't know if you can see, a piece of 16 count Ada, which is called Spider Lace Grey, I think, by Fabric Flair. It also comes in a purple as well, and you can see it's got a pattern that kind of frames the haunted house. Now if I could have taken the framing or taken the stitching and moved it down just an inch, I think I would have been more happy with it. So what I need to do, I think, is even it up a little bit and maybe add a little bit more down here and a little bit more into the sides. This is only sort of lightly taped into this frame, and it normally has glass front to it, but I knew it would just reflect horribly, so I quickly took the glass off the front. So as I said, Tiny Modernist, it's available as a download. It was really fun to stitch. I left off the stars. I think there was supposed to be some stars around the outside, but I decided to just leave those off. I didn't particularly care for them, so just made it my own. Okay, so I've got some patterns that I want to show you, just because I know we're coming to the end of Halloween, but we stitch Halloween all year, don't we? We stitch these things all the time, and so there might be a few things in there that you want to add to your stash. So these are in no particular order, they're just how they came. Some of them, as I said, have just come straight out of my chart folders, and some of them have come out of my partly kitted bin. So the first one we've got is, what's it called? It's Halloween by Foxwood Crossings. I don't know which is the best side to go. Whoop, not that way. There we go. It's Halloween by Foxwood Crossings. It's just a really simple pattern, charted in black or brown, something very similar to that. And it says, "It's Halloween, lock your doors and turn out the lights, or ghosts and goblins will spook you tonight. Jump in your bed, pull the covers up tight, close your eyes until the morning light." And I've got a piece of Picture This Plus Prank. There's a hanging thread. Picture This Plus Prank in 28 count to do that one eventually. Now this one is by the Witchy Stitcher. I love her things, and this one's already in a bit of a mess because I've started it once and I hated the fabric that I was doing it on. It just wasn't, I just didn't like it at all. So this is why this one looks a bit battered, because I have already done it already. So it's called We're Made for Each Other, and obviously it's got the two halves of the two faces there. And I had picked to do it on quite a dark grey fabric that I dyed, and it wasn't the dye that I didn't like, it was the actual fabric itself. It was a brand that I hadn't used before, and it was so thin and I just gave up on it. So I'm going to start this one again once I've dyed a piece for it, and actually a piece for this is one of the ones that I've got planned for the rip dyeing video that I want to do. And the next one is the partner piece. I've already opened that, just closed it. The partner piece to The Girls Are Back in Town, and it's called The Boys Are Back in Town. Now I got both of these from Chris at the Nimble Thimble. Let's get it right. Chris at the Nimble Thimble, but via her Etsy store, which I'll link below as well. So with this one, you basically get the buttons. I think that's what you're really paying for. You're paying for the buttons, and then you get the chart for free. It says printed as cross stitch by just another button company as a gift with the purchase of the button pack. So you get that, and then a really scrappy screwed up little piece of dark grey black 32 count, I would guess. So there's that one. Now this one I really want to do for my daughter, and this one is called, well, it's by Madame Chantilly. I don't know if it's got a name that's not in Italian. Don't know. But one of my daughter's favourite books is called Mrs. Black Cat, and Mrs. Black Cat spends the entire book trying to turn her ginger cat black. She has everything black, black shoes, black clothes, black hat, black tights, black shoes, everything. And she's got this ginger cat, and she tries, the whole book is she's trying to turn it black. So what I'm going to do is actually change the text to Mrs. Black Cat. I'm going to change the colour of the cat, make her completely black, and then so that'll be something for her because of her favourite book. And the fabric that I've chosen is this one. And I think this is a piece of silk weaver, but more than that I can't tell you what it is. I would suggest it's a 32 count. You see, all of this was before FlossTube, before I knew that you guys needed to know stuff like this. So I'm pretty sure it's a silk weaver 32 count. The next one, I saw somebody stitching it on FlossTube, and I can't remember who. I can't remember who was stitching it, but I loved it. I loved it straight away. Excuse the crinkle. It's by Plum Street Samplers, and it's called Garden of Erie. And it says at the bottom, this work wrought by me, P. Stewart, 2009. It's just a sort of acknowledgement of the stitcher. And the person that I saw stitching it, and I'm so sorry that I can't remember who, was stitching it on a piece of blue. Now this is a piece of blue that I hand dyed myself. So I'm really looking forward to stitching on that one, starting that one. I think that's going to look amazing on that blue background. Okay, so the rest are just patterns. I haven't really got anything, any fabric or anything with them. So we'll just run through some of these. Get your pen and paper ready. The first one, and this has been out and about a lot recently, is the book of Sisters by Blackbird Designs. And the one that you will have seen most commonly is this one, called At First Cock Crow. But all of the stitching in here has got a kind of Halloween-y, autumny feel, apart from one actually, which is a Christmassy one. Where's the Christmas? It's called Sisters because it starts off with a pair of stitches by two sisters, H Shields and A Shields. So that's A Shields, and that's H Shields. But they're all a collection in these sort of lovely orangey autumnal colours. That's Peace and Plenty, which is the Christmassy one. And the last one is called Witch No More. That's a really lovely book by all the Blackbirds, definitely all the Blackbird books anyway. These ones, these two I acquired fairly recently. Birds of a Feather Lost Spirits and Birds of a Feather Scared Silly. I really like the Birds of a Feather stuff. I think I've got another one in this pile. Now, this is something that you won't see very often from me, is an actual magazine. I purchased this one, I can't even think why. I can't think why I actually purchased the magazine rather than just use my Readly app. Must have had maybe something on the front that I wanted. Or did my mum buy it for me? Maybe mum bought it for me. But inside it's got this really nice Halloween sampler. Now watch me not be able to find it when I want to. There we go. And I love all this kind of top bit to it. Not sure there's everything I like in there, whether I would change it up a little bit, but certainly there's loads of Halloween motifs in there. And that is Cross Stitcher Magazine, October 2019, so a year ago this month. This one I showed fairly recently as well, Haunted Manor House by Artful Offerings. And I like that one. I just like the fact that you can kind of go crazy with your fabric on that one if you wanted to, because the pattern is so striking and so simple. Beautiful. So we've seen Willow Hill Samplings, the Halloween ABCs, a lot recently, but Willow Hill Samplings have got quite a lot of other nice charts that have got a bit of a Halloween theme to them. So this one is called the Bewitched Sampler. Really quick to do. Nice little primitive stitch. Again, this one's another recent acquisition. I was hoping to get this done this time around, but no such luck. From Lila's studio, called All Hallows Eve. And there is a pair to this one, which name I forget, but I'll put it across the bottom. Looks very similar to this, and it's more of an autumnal one, like a Thanksgiving autumnal one. But I really like that. I love that skirt. If I could have a skirt like that, I would. Teresa Koga. This is Fabulous Monsters Series 2. I think she's released some more from this series now, so definitely worth checking that out. You'll have seen this one, Witch's Brew, which goes with the Coffee First one, and there's another one that's come out called Frosty something. Again, I'll put it along the bottom, which is on a bright green background, and it's got a snowman in it, so that would be a really lovely trio. This one I got for my birthday, and I saw Java Girl stitching this one actually. Now, for everybody in the UK, this will make you smell the name of the company. The company's called My Fanny. How puerile of me to laugh at that one. But I love that. It's like a little cake stand, or a little cake dome with witch's legs and Boo and the house and that pumpkin. So I really, really like that. It's not Halloween if you haven't got any Prairie Schooler. I love this one, Boo to You. Now my idea with this is to stitch sort of 4 or 5 of these in a row and make them into a drum. I want to make everything into a drum at the minute, so but I've always wanted to make a drum out of these, or just some Halloween ornaments. I was looking at a Halloween tree the other day, but I didn't get around to buying it, so maybe next year. So Boo to You, that's my favourite, the Halloween series. This is one that you don't see very often. It's a Plum Street Samplers one called 13 Owls. And again, I really like this one. It says, 13 owls in a haunted tree, all stared down, so it daunted me. One laughed out, "Ooh, there she is, oh, there she be," so that they all joined together and they taunted me. Sorry, I can read, honestly. I can read. So I really like that one. There's not that many colours in that one, but I do like the way that it's been done. Another one by Plum Street Samplers, Stranded Jacks, which again I really like. I really wanted to do this year and just never got around to it. There's not that much stitching in each one. Does it say how big each one is? 43 by 43. So they're definitely doable, and there's only like 6 or 7 colours in them. So maybe I'll just kit this one up, and then that'll give me the impetus to actually stitch it. Another Birds of a Feather one called Remember Me. Now I've seen recently someone has stitched part of this, and again I'm sorry, I'm rubbish, I can't remember who it was, but they stitched just the top section, I think. So it looked brilliant, really good. Love their designs. This one's out of print. I presume it's available on their website as a download, but I haven't checked. It's called There Was an Old Woman. It's obviously based on the theme, there was an old woman who lived in a shoe. I feel like that old woman some days. I don't live in a shoe, but I feel like that old woman. Primitive Hair, The Witches of Salem, with a list of the names of the women and men, I believe, yeah, women and men, who died in Salem. It's a really nice piece, that one. I really like that one. I don't know if nice is the right word. If you're thinking about the manslaughter of more than 20 people, but I don't. I do like it. This one, La-di-da, called The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary. Again, you can do what you like with the fabric for this one. I could almost see that on that bright green. I've got to think about that bright green at the minute. I'm going to stitch Midnight Ride on that bright green too. As I said in the last video, that piece that I saw, and when I checked, it was on a Hands Across the Sea Instagram. I didn't say where the picture had been taken, but that picture absolutely astounded me. So that's what I'm going to do, Midnight Ride on the bright green. But this could go on a bright blue, bright green, bright orange, any colour you wanted, or you could really do the prim colours. Be fabulous either way. Some from the blue flower. I'm stitching Halloween Parade from the blue flower as well, and loving it. Sorry, I've got an itchy face. My daughter's we've been doing Halloween makeup the last few days, and so she keeps insisting that she puts Halloween makeup on me. So you can imagine what I look like. But it's really drying. It's really drying on the face. So I've taken a pass yesterday, and I'm going to try and take a pass today as well. And then tomorrow I'll have to have it. The Halloween squirrel. And there's quite a few designs featuring this squirrel. So you can really build up a nice little set with those. Stacey Nash, House on Pumpkin Hill. That's just genius on that blue. I love it. Really, really nice. And Erica Michaels, Scary Berry. I do like making berries, and I don't know why I don't make some more of them. There's not much stitching, and then they look fabulous. I do like them a bit bigger though. I do like doing them on sort of a lower count fabric so they come out a bit bigger. Okay, I've got a few more, 2 or 3 more. These are all PDFs that I've downloaded from Etsy. So, I just dropped one. The one I dropped actually was the one that's not a PDF, so let's do with that one. Misfortune from Prairie Schooler. And there's a set of these as well. There's 6 maybe, all in this same sort of colourway, in this same sort of size. And I think I was watching Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World, and she's got 4 of them, I want to say, that she's going to do on a single piece of fabric, which is going to look fab. Another one from the Witchy Stitcher. If you're looking to get into some Halloween patterns, the Witchy Stitcher is pretty much going to be your first stop, I think, on Etsy. Happy Halloween. That cat. And this one I pulled out. It's not terribly Halloweeny, but it's stuck to another one. There we go. It's not terribly Halloweeny, but I do want to do them. And there's a whole series of these little bottles with various different Harry Potter designs and characters in them. And again, Julie from Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World showed these, and I loved them. I've only bought one and downloaded one, just because I know that I could go and buy all of them, and then I'll be like, you haven't stitched any of them. So I'm going to make myself stitch this one first before I think about buying any others. I love that. Wouldn't be complete without a design by the Sub Rosa. This is called Owl Pincushion. And after I bought it, she's probably changed the design now, but after I bought it, she did send me a stitching correction to it. So just be aware, if you've had this for a little while, just check your emails, make sure that you've picked up the stitching correction. I'm sure the ones that are available to buy now have had that corrected in the actual chart. And what have I got left? Two more. This one is very apt for Halloween at the moment, by Satirical Stitching, which is the Plague Doctor. There were some cracking Plague Doctor stitches around in the last few months, but this one I really like because it's not massive, it's really nice and clear, and I really want to get on and do this one. And the last thing I've picked out from my stash was from the Calico Confectionery. They've got some really nice patterns as well. It's called I Told You, and if you can't read on the little pillow there, it says I told you I was sick. So it goes with the little guy in the coffin. And that's it. So just a quick visit with me today. Normal service will resume next week with a normal video. Hopefully I've got a couple of really exciting bits of information for you for next week. So do like and subscribe, and then that way you'll get notifications of when I make a new video. And I'll see you next week. Happy Halloween. Bye bye.